Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and TradeFly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you'll need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. We got a great show lined up for you today. We got PPI data coming in, jobless claims data coming in. We've got the lowest selling of Bitcoin ever for Grayscale, and Hilton might be getting into crypto. All that and a whole lot more today on Piper Academy. Guys, classes in session. Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning and welcome to Piper Academy. I'm your host, Army Piper. We come at you every Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit here at the Academy. Guys, welcome, and thank you for joining us today. We got a great show lined up for you. If you guys are new here and you get anything out of today's content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. You'll get notified every time we go live, which I already told you. It's Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Appreciate you guys being here. We got a great show lined up for you today. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Trio Cam here, but we're missing one of our partners in crime down there, OC Guy. He's coming in a little late for us today. But TradeFly, what's going on, brother?
Hey, not a whole lot, man. Good to be home. I'm excited. Got a couple days off and then back on the grind. And then next week I'll get my 4 days. So super excited about that. Hopefully we can hit up the mountains or something. You know, always trying to do something with the fam, get after it. But yeah, as usual, happy to be here. I know we got some news to talk about. I'm excited today. I'm excited to look at some charts, man. I seeing some stuff on the charts. You know, Bitcoin's making a push. So good times, man. I'm ready to do this.
Absolutely. And I see OC is about to drop in on us also. We'll come back and talk to him. Let's go ahead and jump over into the news, guys. The show must go on. This is the life of live. Here we go. Let's get over into the news here and let's do that. Today's news brought to you guys by Decrypted.tax. Guys, tomorrow I plan on having Ernest from Decrypted.tax on for a little short segment, about 10 minutes or so, just to tell you guys, look, if you haven't filed for your taxes yet, there's still some things that he can do. And there's some information that you may need to know about your crypto tax filing. So he's going to be on tomorrow. Also, we're going to be doing a big giveaway tomorrow. But yeah, today's news brought to you by Decrypted.tax. Let's jump over into the news and let's take a look at what we got going on here today. Extreme greed still. We are still at extreme greed. Why? Because that pullback yesterday was followed by a nice rallying pump. And so extreme greed still present. We are at 76 on that. Taking a look here at the Bitcoin halving, guys, we are 8 days and 4 hours away. So by next Friday, we should be hitting the halving. Based on this, there's only 1,241 blocks left to go. So let's get it, guys. It is happening. The Bitcoin halving is upon us. Look here at the crypto bubbles. We're going to look at the daily here. You can see still a lot of green on here. Uniswap, though, in the news today, Uniswap under attack by the SEC. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Down 14.7 for the day, but everything else besides CKB sitting pretty much to the upside. We're still down on the weekly, a lot of red on the weekly, and we're still red on the monthly. But overall, the past hour, guys, looking pretty decent, about 50-50 split here. Let's go down and take a look and see what we're seeing down here on the bottom side of this. Bitcoin up 4.5% for the day. Ethereum up 3.4% there on the daily. We got BNB up 4.3%, Solana up 5.9%. Any big movers? Toncoin up 8.9%, down a little bit in the past hour, but overall doing really, really well here. What else is in the charts here? Oh, Bit Sensor. Not even sure what Bid and Tensor is, but it's up 26%. We'll have to look at that one. It's up 5 slots to number 26. So that one is moving pretty good. We'll have to take a look at that one. Crux, if you're out there, if you're listening, we need some information on what the hell that coin is. VCHADE up 12.1%. Let's get over to the liquidations. The past 24 hours, 49,570 traders liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $156.2 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on Binance. It was for a cool 7.7 million there. And then economic calendar. This is the data that came out today, guys. PPI month over month. This is the producer price index. This is how much it costs for manufacturing companies to manufacture the goods. How much does it cost for them to buy stuff, to make stuff, to sell you stuff? And the previous, it was up 0.6% for the month. For the month over month, and the consensus was that it would be up 0.3%. Forecast was that it would be up 0.4%. It actually came in at 0.2% up. It's still up, so it's up 0.2%, but not as high as what they were calculating it would be at based on that consensus and forecast. Not looking too horrible there. On the core PPI side, and what this is, core PPI excludes your food and energy cost. That rose by 0.2%. We got a little breakdown that I'm going to be looking at here in just a second from the Kabisi letter. But lastly, guys, initial jobless claims. That was this is your how many people filed for unemployment for the week, and it was consensus was that it'd be 215,000. Forecast was that it would be 218,000. Looks like previously was 222,000. We came in at 211,000. So not as many people filing for unemployment this week as what they expected there would be, and quite a bit less than what it was last week. So that is actually an improvement. But that tends to not play out in the market. That tends to make the markets go down, not up. The markets like to see the labor force get hurt a little bit because it means that they can't raise rates as much. They lose some power over there at the Federal Reserve. So let's jump over here and see what the Kabisi letter gives on this breakdown here. He has it right there. Let's zoom it in. Breaking March PPI inflation rises to 2.1%, but below the expectations of 2.2, which we just talked about. And then that core PPI inflation rises 2.4%, above the expectation of 2.3. PPI and CPI are now both up for 2 straight months for the first time since September 2023. And then he goes on down here to say the final confirmation of the resurgence of inflations will be the PCE inflation later on this month. And we'll be following that and tracking that here on the show. So make sure you're tuning in to the Piper Academy, get that PCE data that's coming out later on here in April. And it's quickly becoming more clear that even 3 rate cuts might be a little bit too optimistic when you look at 2024. Likely not going to see that. Let's go ahead and jump back over to Trio Cam. OC, welcome, bro. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, we had a little bit of technical issues in the morning, as
It happens.
mostly always. Yeah, it does. It does. But yeah, doing fantastic. I mean, I also have a couple of news coming lining up. Whenever we have a chance, we can maybe go and try them out. In there, it's about American Express accepting a partnership right now with XRP or Ripple. So looking good for Ripple. Haven't seen any pump yet. Nonetheless, I mean, it's looking pretty good with the partnership. I'm expecting a little bit more of Ripple throughout the year and after the halving event, especially throughout the second quarter of 2024. So we'll see how Ripple does.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to go back here. I'm going to go back a ways here on the chart real fast while I get this loaded up. We're going to go over this chart on Bitcoin, and then, of course, we will get into the news. But I want to get back here on this real fast. Let me just get back here to 2013. I'm going all the way back to 2013, and then I'll pull this chart up. Yeah, I'll go ahead and drop it over. Come on in. Come on in. The water's fine. Let's go back here to 2013 on this day. I saw this post on X, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I went ahead and extended this this red line across to 236 here just because it starts here. If you guys don't know where this is at, this is all the way back at the beginning of my my fib channels, and I threw it on a daily here. You guys can see what happened here. We hit the 236, and we had this massive drop. I found this extremely interesting. Over this 2-day period, it was an 82.6% dump on Bitcoin. Massive. On this day in history, is actually on this day in history, on April 11th, 2013, we did a massive, over 2-day period, 82% dump on Bitcoin. If we go back and we take a look at what happened from that bottom to the top, started at the bottom, and now we here. Let me get this into focus so we can bring it up. There we go. If we go back and look at where that dump left us to the high of that cycle, Folks, that was a 44,000% move. Now, I'm not saying Bitcoin is going to do that again, ever. But I just want to show you when you get crazy pullbacks and nothing is done and over. And yesterday we saw that. We saw a pullback yesterday that came out with all of that inflation data. And then what happened? We ended up pumping, and we can come over here and take a look at what happened. We literally pumped up to that 786 back at $71,000 yesterday. Right now, we are getting that pullback, but like I said, that's coming off of those numbers being lower than expected, but still higher and giving confirmation that inflation is rearing its ugly head again. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that right there, 786 is where we pumped back up to. And right now we're still sitting above that long-term trend line. So overall, I'm not feeling too bad about what is going on with Bitcoin right now. As, again, that 70,000, that 82% pullback there leading to a 43,000% upside movement. That just tells you how crypto can move in its crazy ways. But TradeFly, do you have that heat map ready for Bitcoin? Can we jump over to that and then we'll go and start some news?
You know
Look at
I
you.
do.
Of course you do.
You know
Of
I
course
do.
you do. Let's go.
All right, so let's look at the liquidation heat map. This is on the 3-month, because the reason I'm pointing this out is the hottest spot on the map over a 3-month period is still around 50,200, 50,400. We've talked about it a few times on the show, but for those that are new here, just want to point this out to you to let you know that there's a lot of liquidity sitting around that 50K mark. Another thing that we've talked about is, for me personally, I do have an open order just kind of sitting there waiting. If it ever comes down, that'll be a nice buy, right? So just kind of waiting that one out. But let's look at the 3-day chart. Let's look at, what's kind of in the immediate future here. And on the 3-day chart, you can see there's a hot spot. People are actually going short right above the range that we're building right now. So once we ever get to the charts, I'll show you a range, and it's actually tied around the volume area high and the volume area low right now. It's really respecting those two areas. So, just of note, but liquidity is sitting right here at about 71.6, 71, up to about almost 72K. So that's where, you could potentially see a wick or maybe a little movement to the upside, clear out that liquidity. And that would support something that I am seeing on the charts, but I'm going to save that for when we get into some of the TA on Bitcoin.
Awesome. Yeah. I appreciate that. We're going to get into the news. Yeah, we are getting a little pullback back right now, but I don't think it's not going to zero while we do the news. So you guys just hang in there. And shout out to username. Username dropped by, said, I'm always seeing Piper Academy in the chat. Had to stop by and check it out. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Also, I found out BitTensor, according to Eric Wallen, it's an AI play. So there you go. We got more info today. Piper Academy putting up the poll right now. It says, what project would you like to hear more about? Would it be Athena, BitTensor, Near Protocol, or Toncoin? So I just said I would like to know more about BitTensor. That's what I want to select. But you guys select what you want. Let us know on that poll there so that we can get that going. Let's jump over into some news here, and let's take a look at what we're seeing on the news side, because we did have some news that came out. One of them is from Grayscale, and it's not about how much they sold yesterday, believe it or not. They're talking about the inflation and the deficit. They're saying that it's unsustainable, which, hey, news broadcast, we kind of all knew that. Unsustainable deficit inflation mean more demand for Bitcoin and according to Grayscale. Grayscale says that the recent inflation data could be a short-term negative. I want to key out that short-term negative for crypto, but persistent inflation will ultimately foster a supportive environment for crypto. We talked about this yesterday with Piano Matty B. We had him on the show. We were talking about at what point does Bitcoin actually become a hedge to inflation. Store value assets such as Bitcoin will continue to be a hot commodity in the United States as the United States government continues to overspend and keep interest rates high. We expect persistent inflation and unsustainable budget deficit to contribute to continued demand for store value assets like Bitcoin. The Fed won't be able to cut rates for a while with the core inflation this high, but booming nominal growth, the Bitcoin halving, and adoption trends like tokenization should create a supportive environment for crypto markets. Absolutely agree with that. Guys, let us know down there in the chat what you guys think. Someone said something about a color shirt. I'm not sure what shirt they're talking about. Let me know.
It's
I
a
don't.
whole nother conversation. Me and
I
Alex,
can
so
see that.
we're trying to
I'm trying to keep up
yeah
with that. Try to keep up
yeah
over here.
don't
Uh,
don't keep up with that nonsense. That's me in the chat. Me and Otter, we're trying to coordinate our hats and shirts and all that for Monday. So
so you guys
just
can twin. So you guys can
that's
twin. I
it,
like
man.
it.
That's it.
All right, Bitcoin bounces back. Grayscale in the news again here. Bitcoin bounces back as Grayscale ETF outflows hit a new record low. That's right, guys. Yesterday, Grayscale record low on how much Bitcoin they sold ever. So GBTC outflows on April 10th were approximately 15 times less than the average daily outflows over the past 4 months. Let's jump down here and just see what it says. If there's anything of pertinence. On April 10th, GBTC saw outflows of about $17.5 million, significant decrease compared to the $154.9 million that they recorded on April 9th, just a day prior. Alongside this, the Bitcoin price increased about 2% over the past 24 hours. This obviously came out yesterday, down a little bit now, but we're going to take a look at that in a second. But that is some pertinent news. I just wanted to show you there. They might be slowing down. We've been hearing this from a lot of people in the space that GBTC sell-off might be just about over. So would this be the sign that we're seeing that? Very possibly. Or did they just not sell as much yesterday because they don't want to sell when it's lower? They want to sell when it's higher. We'll have to wait and see. Hang in there for that one. This was one of the ones that's on the thumbnail. SEC sent a Wells notice to the decentralized exchange Uniswap. We're going to be taking a look at the Uniswap chart. It had a massive pullback yesterday on this news. If you guys don't know what a Wells notice is, and we're not going to jump into this too much, we're just going to read the headlines here and then we're going to talk it out. So get those jaws ready over there, TradeFly, because you know a lot about this too. We're going to talk about it in a second. Uniswap Labs confirmed that the DEX received a lawsuit warning from the SEC. Key word there, lawsuit warning. That is what a Wells notice is. The exchange's legal chief said that the agency is overreaching its authority, and Uniswap will fight this potential lawsuit and anticipates a favorable outcome. Let's jump over here. TradeFly, you're the one that dropped this news yesterday. I actually got my news from the TradeFly news outlet yesterday. And you were breaking this down for me, and you had a little bit of insight on it. What's your thoughts on this? And then OC, if you got anything to tag on at the end, we'll pass it over to you. TradeFly, what you got, bro?
Yeah, I don't have a big breakdown on it. The thing that I know that it's ultimately bad news for Uniswap. And the reason I say that is only because of the financial implications of getting into a legal battle with the SEC, right? So that's going to be money, it's going to be time, and then people are going to get scared to use the DEX itself. So, they're going to stay clear of it, right? So that's really all bad implications of this, whether the suit plays out or anything really even materializes from it. You've seen the impacts on XRP, right? XRP ultimately is probably going to walk away from this the winner, but all of the implications in the meantime, because it's been drug out so long, like it's been a huge, huge hit for XRP. So I'm seeing something probably similar, right? Think about KuCoin also. When the government started going after KuCoin, that was about a year ago, and now we're seeing the implications of that. So it's no matter how you look at it, it's going to be a negative thing for Uniswap. I think that's why you saw that initial drawdown pretty quickly of about 13%. So, just be careful. I would stay away from Uniswap, unfortunately, right now, even though they're one of the big players in the DEX space. But there are other options for you. So I would say go ahead and research those.
OC, you got anything to add on to that?
I just wanted to add something very quick, which is the Tifo had part of this, which is, I mean, we're going to see a battle between institutions and also three other institutions, which what I mean for that is US government institutions and then financial institutions like Uniswap, like XRP or something around it, where they're going to be feeling that they're going to be bullied. Remember that adoption needs to go with regulations, but I want to see who's going to be the equilibrium force that said a stop to the government institutions, because we all know that they're a little bit predatorship-ish or a little bit, but I mean, there's gotta be a fight back, just like XRP fought it back first. Now maybe Uniswap, and maybe in the near future, we don't know, but maybe in the near future. And again, this is a speculation, guys. Huge speculation. Maybe in the near future, we're gonna be seeing someone that says, you know what, stop it. I'm just going out of the U.S. I'm gonna stay doing in the rest of the world, and then whoever wants to join it, and then who doesn't, well then just keep on your life, and we'll see what would that like outcome be. I'm not saying that that's gonna be the case with Uniswap, but that will happen eventually. So yeah, just wanted to add that one up.
Yeah, I want to add in that it says Marvin Amori, he's the chief legal officer at Uniswap. He conveyed that the company's readiness to confront the potential lawsuit is high, adding that the firm perceives it as a regulatory overreach, which we talked about. Here's what I would like to see. I would like to see the chief legal officer from Uniswap come in and go, well, this is here's the individuals of this company. If you would like to go after them as the bodies, the entities behind Uniswap, and then it's just a line all the way out into the streets, because they can turn around, look at the SEC and go, you obviously don't understand what decentralized really means. It's a DEX. That's what I would like to see happen. I would love that picture of just like 100,000 people standing outside the courtroom going, SEC gets a harsh lesson on what decentralized means. But we'll never get that. It would just be a great photo op, of my opinion. Let's do it. Let's set it up. Let's get all the Uniswap people and let's do a rally at the SEC courthouse. So, TradeFly, let's get into some charts. I'm going to pass it over to you. I'm sure you got a little more breakdown on Bitcoin. OC, if you can get Uniswap ready, let's take a look and see what happened with Uniswap yesterday after that information. TradeFly, we're going to kick it over to you. Let's get into some BTC.
Right on. So I got Bitcoin on the 4-hour, and the one thing that I'm kind of keeping an eye on here is really this volume area high and the volume area low. And the reason I'm keeping an eye on that right now is because you can see it's really kind of acting as a range right now. So you don't always see that, but depending on who does TA, some of those individuals, they talk about when it gets outside of the volume area high or below the volume area low, that it tends to regress to the mean, especially when you're finding consolidation, which is what we're finding right now. This is probably one of the longer bits of consolidation or finding a range we haven't seen in quite some time. So, for people that like to swing trade, or maybe not so much swing trade, but like intraday, if you want to play that high and that low on the range, it could be an opportunity for those that like to actively trade. So I am, keeping an eye on that, because I do like playing the tops and the bottoms of a range, support, resistance. That's kind of my thing. You guys know that. I don't even have to really draw the lines, because the volume area low and the volume area high have kind of already done it for me. Also, in the midst of that, you're kind of seeing a rising wedge of sorts. You could even argue that it's a triangle as well. But the biggest thing that I'm looking at right now is this support level that is coming up and right now, and it's honoring that in conjunction with it's finding support right here. That actually would have been a pretty nice play. However, bad news was on that one is that you saw the dynamic reactor flip red, and we're not seeing that all too often until recently, right? So it almost gives the appearance as though that we may be losing a bit of strength, and that's not that big a deal considering you are up over the previous all-time high, which was about 69K. So I just wanted to point this range out to you. So high side, volume area high, I'm going to point that out as 71.6, and then the volume area low is going to be at about 64.5. All right. Now, that's very important, because one of the things I was pointing out on the liquidation heat map here is this area right here at about 71.6. So let's find that on the chart. 71.6 is not out of play by any means. That is the volume area high. So keep an eye on that. I could very much see a wick come up. It clears out liquidity with a rejection, and then it moves back down to either test the dynamic reactor or the bottom side of this range here, the volume area low. So just want to point that out. I think that's some significant areas for you to keep an eye on if you are trying to do any kind of scalping or intraday trading.
Sweet. Love it. OC, you got Uniswap ready? You up?
Yep, I'm up.
Let's do it.
Perfect. So, I was looking at the other screen. All right, so basically just wanted to bring up here very quick. Did I heard TradeFly saying about the range on Bitcoin? Nice. We've been looking at that range for a long time. Well, let's go to Uniswap already. And there we go. We have Uniswap 4 hours. We had a little bit of a dumping here. Not that huge of a deal because we haven't lost. Well, we have lost key support. In fact, now that I see it, let's go to my indicators just to start making sure that I am losing those supports. Yes, we are. So I was looking at this area right here. You can see this channel support that dates back all the way to somewhere around February the 22 of this year. As you can see, every single time that we get close to it, or at that point, we have bounced through. But at this point, we have a big candle. If we go to daily, there's going to be one single candle with a breakout. So far, I'm looking for maybe a retest, and off we go. We can see the flip of the ribbon almost happening right there. And remember, flip of the ribbon below big support, below the zero line, that could be only a pullback to the value right here, and then a continuation to the downside. So far we are not we're not looking that good on Uni. Our prime score is 1. Our consolidation is 0. Remember, 0 and 10 usually goes for unicorn numbers, and that means that I am not consolidating. So that even if I have a pullback, that means that I could be now continuing the previous trend. In the previous trend, it is to the downside. Areas of support or redemption, we have right here the first green number with big volume and 2 lines of support to back it up. We also have another 2 lines of support to back it up. So what we have in the middle is this ranging here, and we can narrow it down a little bit more just by looking at this box right here. So areas entry and entry for a long position or back for at least redemption areas, it is at 6.77. So looking at those areas so far, I'm not looking to short anything but Bitcoin or anything else that looks beautiful. But at this point, I think Uni is not going to be one of those. I'd rather wait for see Bitcoin react to whatever is happening, because right now we are in the process of reversing within the big channel that I've been looking at, and that could bring Uniswap with a big week. If you're willing to hold Uniswap and you do believe Uniswap, not as a financial advice, but I would open a couple of trades in here for the long run. Very low leverage or even no leverage spot entries for the upcoming years to come. So yeah, that's what I got on Uniswap.
Awesome. Appreciate you, bro. Let's jump over here and engage with the chat for a second. Let's check out this poll. So far, again, that poll was, what project would you like to hear more about? Right now, the highest percentage, Near Protocol, running at 39%. Just behind that is BitTensor. So yeah, there you go. That's if you guys haven't voted on that, go ahead and vote on it. Also, let us know in the chat down below there or to the side, wherever you're watching at, whatever device you're on. Let us know what assets you like us to take a look at today. I'm getting ready to jump over and take a look at VeChain. But yeah, guys, you guys see anything in the chat you wanted to engage with besides cluck MFers, Crypto Polio in the house?
Yeah, pull up what you got, but on the backside of that, I'm gonna take a look-see at ONDO again, just for our man Crypto Polio, because he was in a trade and we were looking at a area of support. Let's see if that held up.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, guys, let us know in the chat there what you'd like to see. We will get into those. We're at the top of the hour. We got plenty of time. Taking a look at VeChain here, guys. I just read a thing yesterday. No joke. Someone said VeChain is dead. That's what they said in the chat. I don't remember what show it was on. I think it might have been on Crypto Keeper. I just want to show you guys. We're in a prime score of 8, a consolidation of 4. And what they're talking about is this nice little consolidation period that we have right here going on. So let's go ahead and drop a fixed range volume profile in there, see what we got there for that. And we're going to take it for this little period here. Yeah, we're sitting above the point of control still. We got a value area low coming in at about 4.3 cents on VeChain. And we did get a nice little bounce down here off of the 382, perfectly off of the 382, sitting below that 50, which means we are at this time still bearish. Why? Because we keep getting rejected off of the 50 here over and over and over again. But if you take a look at the daily, the 12-hour, the 1 hour, and the 4-hour, which is what we're on right now, we are sitting above the dynamic reactor on everything. That in itself is a local bullish trend, but ultimately we've got to get above this 50% Fibonacci here in order for it to be bullish truly. Maybe we are able to get this to move up above this sometime this weekend. I do think we're going to see a lot of volatility for the next 8 days. We got the halving coming up next Friday. On top of that, we do have there's no more data this week going into next week. Let me take a real quick look here to see when that data is going to be coming out on the PCE. Let's go see here. PCE is going to be coming out on the 26th of April. So we've got a nice period here of limited major economic news, and that's going to help us out in the grand scheme of things when we look at the halving coming up. I can see VeChain getting a nice movement up above that 50 in that value area high there to give us another run. VeChain, guys, everyone's saying it's dead. It's not really dead. It's doing pretty decent. It's still creating this consolidation period above previous high levels, which are going to be right down here. You can see we bounced off of those levels before. Let's take a look at the oscillators, see how they're looking. We got a nice zero line bounce right there that gave us the movement to the upside. It does look like we're starting to get a little curvature right here. We do have that downtrend arrow, but overall, I do think that this range that we're in, I would look, if I was going to get into a long or pick up some more myself, do your own research, not financial advice, I'd be looking at that 382 at 0.042 cents, looking for that to be an area of some pickup there. We do have a little news article here on that VeChain on the edge. Inside it says VET will reach the finish line. So there's not FUD. There's good news out there about it. I think VeChain is going to do just fine. I don't think VET is as dead as people think it is. Let's kick it over to OC. OC, what you got for us? And then you're doing Bitcoin, man. What you got for us on the alt side?
All right, I just was looking or doing my updates on Bitcoin, just cleaning the charts up because I had an open order right here. I did not took an open possible order in here. I did not took it, and I just was cleaning everything up because I do see a couple of things that I'm not liking that much in Bitcoin, and that is we had our high, and then we have a lower low, right, breaking through the trend line, but we broke back again, and we right now are retesting on that same trend line. So usually that is a bullish signal, but again, we are reversing back in making a lower low, right? So that for me on my old theory or my personalized, my proprietary rooftop analysis, this is giving me already a rejection, and for that I need to look for a possible neckline, and my neckline will be either somewhere around this area. Let me just fix it, somewhere around this area right here, which means that we are still going down. We also have almost right there the flip of the ribbon, but it wasn't, or it isn't as I was expecting. It is right at the zero line. So again, it is fighting, I mean, with nails just to hold its position. So we'll see. That's what I was extending this alarm that I have here with the trend line, just to know when I'm hitting it and look at what does the oscillator does. So at this point, I'm holding a little bit with this rejection already and seeing what is this flip the ribbon. Is it going to be continuing, or is it going to be breaking back above? If it breaks back above, I will be looking at this area right here and lock it. Remember, lock your fibs, lock your lines, guys, so it doesn't move, and then add an alert to it. So that way, if I have a breakout, man, we are going to be breaking hard to the upside. That's my speculation, because look at the range that we've been looking at for so long. This is it, right? I've been talking about this range for back to March in here, right? And let's go just to the last chart here. And if we break that rooftop line that I have here, well, we also could be speculating that we had a bullish pennant, and that bullish pennant will go all the way up to somewhere around 77K. So again, I don't want you guys to go running, yes, and going 100x or with full wallets inside. I mean, guys, be careful, because so far, this is a bearish pattern for me, going at least all the way down to 68, but the oscillator could change it all. So just be careful on that. For me, I already are long since all the way down here. I'll be sharing my receipts. I missed this short. I missed this other short. So, but that's fine. I mean, the market's not going anywhere. That is completely fine. I'll just jump into the next
Great.
one when I see an opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, we got a request for AVAX and Link in the chat right now. We also had JASMY and Soul. I'm going to pick up Soul, TradeFly. You got ONDO?
I got ONDO up. Yeah, that's what I was
Nice.
saying for Crypto Pollo. So I'll keep this quick only because we're just following up from yesterday's TA. But looking at the daily, I did want to point out, still looks bullish overall. Like if you're just looking at the formation, the structure of the price action right now, overall still looks pretty bullish. I mean, and you have the opportunity here for the RSI or the prime oscillator to reset. There's not a significant movement of money flow either. So that's something I really like to look at. Like it is eking out, but it's not crazy that it would scare me. Like you would expect just with this movement right here to see a little bit more curvature on the money flow. So, you know, overall, this thing could pull back all the way to the golden pocket. Really, it could pull back to the volume area high, and it's still kind of a bullish structure. It's just the problem of where we're at short term, right? Because now, if you're looking at it, we are setting a series of lower highs. Like it's starting to look like it kind of wants to continue this kind of movement right here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at on the daily. Just on the 4-hour, we did look at this area of support here. Let me go ahead and delete that. And then this area of support at about the 0.5. All right. So that did hold up. It did get a nice little wick off of that, which means that's good news, right? Because there is a little bit of buying pressure in that area of about 72 cents. I think you said your stop was a little bit underneath of that. I would say that next level of support, though, is probably at about 69. Would probably be more the area that I'm looking at in terms of finding support if it were to continue down and right. But really, you know, when it comes down to it, the golden pocket is probably that area. You know, you can see all this resistance with multiple touch points and a big breakthrough. Then comes back down for a retest, basically flipping that area of resistance into support. I could definitely see price action coming down and right still. But it's up to the greater market, right? Like if the market moves up and right, I think this will. It's not diverging from the rest of the market. So fortunate for you right now, 0.5 is holding up right now. Overall, I don't really like the near term structure, but the daily, the structure on the daily, I do like. I think overall it's still bullish. So kind of up to you on how you want to play that in terms of staying in this trade. I would say if it does come up and kiss the 80-cent region, you know, if you're stuck in the trade and you're trying to get out, that's definitely where I would see a little bit of resistance, and I think that would put you in profit in terms of getting out of it. Just depends if you're in the short term or long term. If you're hodling, no big deal. Like I said, the structure overall is still bullish. If you're trying to get out of a short term trade, somewhere around 80 cents and maybe up to 85 cents, but short term, if you're just one out, 80 cents is probably where I would be looking.
Had to take a tasty drink there. Some legendary aviation coffee. Sorry.
Ooh,
Yeah.
delicious.
Delicious. OC is going to be taking a AVAX here in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and jump over here. I got Solana up. We had a request for Solana. Solana, these Fibonacci levels that you guys see here, these are going all the way back to November 2021. This is the high that we had. Actually, it needs to go just a little bit there. Hold on one second. I got to get this on the very top wick because it was not on the top wick. There we go. Let me get you on there. There we go. This is going back to the all-time high. Currently, right now, we got our last rejections here on the platinum pocket here. Gave us the little pullback on the 786, $206 there. That's the double top there. Right now, what we have going on is we are getting our support off of the 618 of the golden pocket. We've had it back here, back in March, and then we also have it here that just happened on the 10th of April. That would be yesterday. So we have a good support level here. If we consolidate here in the golden pocket, I would be just fine with that. No harm, no foul. There was a lot of FUD on the that came out about Solana on their how many of their transactions didn't go through or how long the wait time was on their transactions. I did have this support level down here that I said, hey, it's yellow, it's not green, because if we lose this, it's very quickly going to become resistance. That's exactly what it is now. Our rejection on the top of this is sitting on the 0.66, $174. Let's call it 175 if we look at where it's actually wicking up to. And that box is now, that T box there is now our resistance levels. Let me move this back over to the top there. That's going to be our ultimate target. If we hold the golden pocket and we break out of it, I'm going to be watching for a return to the platinum pocket. As far as the value area high, value area low, and point of control on the fixed range volume profile, running from this period that starts back in December of 2023 to now, we are sitting well above the value area high. We had this period back here in March that we were able to break through that, and then that's what put us up into the golden pocket and then the platinum pocket for that rejection ultimately. So we're sitting well above that. We don't have any fixed range volume profile levels to be concerned with there. Now let's get rid of all the Mexican spaghetti here. Brought to you by OC Guy. He taught me how to cook, just so you guys know. Let's take a look at the oscillators and see what we're seeing on there. It does look like we do have right now a curvature coming in on the oscillator ribbon. However, we've had these before where we were starting to get a curvature. This one created a divergence, but you can see here we had a curvature and then it went up higher. Price stayed sideways. I do believe right now we are in just a consolidation period. I would watch for a low on the return back to that value area high, which is sitting below us at about $147. If we hit that, I would be very interested in getting back into a long on Solana or picking up some more from my wallet. If not, there, then maybe a partial there and a partial two on that 50% line at $134 even. It's a nice psychological, nice even number, I should say. And anything on the 50, if we bounce on 50s, on the 50% Fibonacci to the upside, it's bullish. If we reject on it to the downside, it's bearish. I think that would be ultimately my my Hail Mary shot to grab some Solana up. Solana, though, right now, guys, really just looking at a consolidation. Let's go ahead and pull up the chart prime indicators on it, get rid of these brush marks, and then let's go and take a look without the fibs on there. We'll see where we're at. Well, right now we're trading on that delta median line of the predictive ranges here. That's that blue line you see running across the chart there. Ultimately, if we bring that into focus, you'll see that typically we trade between the two gold bands of these predictive ranges, right there and right there. So we're in the median. We're in the sweet spot for it, but we are believe that dynamic reactor, it's sitting as resistance right above us also. So yeah, I do think we might see a little more downside, but again, I'm going to be watching those fixed range volume profile levels and watching to see where that 50 is at. Both of them coming in, there's that fib and there's that fixed range volume profile. It's going to be this area at 163, and then it's going to be this area at 147. So that's what I got there for that. Let's jump this over and OC, see what you got on your chart, bro. Let's go.
Absolutely. Well, we have AVAX pulled up in here. So we have a little bit of a range that play out in this area right here. In fact, if I turn on my spaghetti, you'll see that we were looking at that range. So it's time for me to clean this up. We're still in that range, but something more interesting has been happened. So we have this pullback to the dynamic reactor to the soft order block, and we have a rejection, which basically generated an automated trend line that goes all the way up here, all the way down here, and then setting up the next pace that we're going to be looking at. So which order block is going to first resist the most, and then are we going to be having a breakout on the trend line? Well, so far we're reversing on our oscillator right down here. We are below the zero line. We are one prime score, and we're fairly middle or neutral on our consolidation score, which means we are consolidating, and yes, we are, right? And also that we are having that sell pressure or that bearish pressure, so not having enough momentum to keep pushing to the upside, which means, all right, that we need to grab some liquidity trading, and I'll be waiting or looking for some liquidity grabs like this. So this absorption zones like this, big wicks, and I expect them to be somewhere around this area, and that's because we have two big supports and then an empty zone right here along with an order block. So I believe that we're going to go into the order block, then wick into the support lines, and finally make a V-shaped recovery and go taste that trend line in here if we have the flip of the ribbon soon enough before losing this support. So far it's looking bearish. We are on big support right now. Let's just look for those entries. First entry zone is at 44.02. Next entry zone is going to be on our dash line in here in the middle in this channel that is being formed at somewhere around 41.35 for long positioning. And for short positioning, well, I'll be looking first at the break or the bounce of the trend line. But most importantly, I'll be looking at my dynamic reactor with a sell area here, low volume with big reactions, because this indicates to me that this is smart money acting upon the price action. So again, that area matches with dynamic reactor in order block right down here. So those are going to be my two shorting areas. Again, I'm not going to be shorting AVAX. Nonetheless, if you are, just be careful, because on overall, despite on the 4 hour we're bearish, on daily we're bullish, and we are we are very close to the halving event. Nonetheless, remember, halving event usually comes with a dump. So other than that, those are my entry zones for longs and for shorts. So turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. TradeFly, what you got up next? I'm going to jump over to a chart real fast, but what do you have up next for the people?
I got a JASMY on the daily. So first thing I'll say,
Awesome.
if you guys like 300% gains, watch this show because we made a call on JASMY right about here. All right.
Yeah, so stick around for that. I do want to address one thing. We had Wild Deuces 234. He asked a question about that Solana versus that Bitcoin dominance. And I want to show you something. If we go and we look at Bitcoin dominance here real fast, where we at? Bitcoin dominance right there. You can see back here, we had this massive run up peak. Let's go ahead and isolate just that off. There we go. We had this massive run up here of Bitcoin dominance. And then it got to this top level here. Really about the 27th of February started to pull back down, right? What happened at that date and time looking at Bitcoin? Well, let's go back to Bitcoin right there, about the 26th, 27th here. If we look at this measured run up that it did on price, Bitcoin at that point, when we had the dominance pulling back, did a 44.4% move. And Crux addressed this perfectly in his response to him. If we take a look at Solana during that same period of time here, let's go down to about February 28th. There we go, 27th, right there. Right there. And we look at that run up, that was a 95% move. So you want to look at these grab positions on these altcoins when Bitcoin dominance is going up. You don't want to switch back into Bitcoin and get away from the alts until that dominance is coming down. When that dominance looks like it's hitting bottoming, that's when you look at doing those swaps out of the altcoins into Bitcoin. But traditionally, when that tops out and that dominance is done, those altcoins, when they rally, are going to rally much harder. In the case of Solana, double of what Bitcoin did on that same period of time. So I just wanted to address that and get that out there for you, man. But it's a great question, Wild Deuces. I appreciate you asking that question. It gave me an opportunity to teach people. That's what we like to do here at the Academy. TradeFly, let's kick it over to you. Let's take a look at this massive trade call that you made there on JASMY.
Yeah, just looking at that, and I'm just obviously kidding with that, but we did point it out before it popped, and so we were looking at this area here, and once it broke through, I was like off to the races, and here we are. So it's really like it's creating a big bull pennant almost on the daily, which is insane. It's pretty big. I mean, if you really measure from here to here, that's like 100%. But still, if you look at it on the chart, it's respecting the range. It's getting tighter, and it actually looks like it just wanted to break out. So that is today that it made a pretty large move, but it also had a pretty sharp rejection. And so we wonder, why did it have that rejection? Well, for me, I love the horizontal lines of support and resistance. I come back left on the
I
chart.
thought you
This right
loved
here
gold.
is actually candle close. This is the wake up, but there's also resistance or correction support right here, right? So support, breakdown, retest. All right. So this right here, key level, 100% for me. That's an area that I'm going to concentrate on, and that's at about 2.8 cents. And then down to this area here, where you can see it did try to hold support. It's a little hard to see on the daily. I'm sure you guys are struggling with that, but it came up and then it got that rejection. And this is where we ultimately had a breakdown. So there's a little bit of a range. There can always be a little bit of a range with these, especially when you're looking at support and resistance levels. It's not always a clear cut, straight horizontal line. So keep that in mind. And that makes sense for the rejection. Now, here's the interesting part, because if we are going to honor this symmetrical triangle we have here, it looks like it wants to retest it right now. So that's something that we always keep an eye on. It can fall back in, but like if we can get, something that looks like this where it retests and then we get something like that, and then you could see potentially some continuation up and right for a retest of this area. Now it looks small and we're on the daily, but let me get rid of that. This is actually a bigger move than you think. So let's say we come back up just to the mean. That's a 16.9% move. So keep an eye on that, because if this area holds up as support, then that could be a pretty nice play. If it falls back down in the range, kind of bets are off. But the other thing that, makes me, I don't know, have hope, we'll say, is look where price is at and look at volume area high right now. So obviously it wants to regress to the mean. That's kind of, the idea of the volume area low and high, but it could act as that area of support when it comes back down for this retest. And then we see that continuation. So not saying to go long by any means, but keep an eye on this because this could be an opportunity right here. Short term, obviously, I wouldn't probably play it much past the 2.5 cents or even where kind of this mean area is. But I would probably look for just under this wick right here. Let's see, just measuring that out real quick to that. That's about a 9.5% move. So well within play. And definitely something to keep an eye on. Just coming down here. Let's
TradeFly on the 4 hour, has that done an actual retest?
That's what I was pulling up right now. And yes, it has. So it's right here. So it came down,
Well,
retested, and now
that's not a
it's
true
bounced.
open and close. You'd have to go off a Heikinashi to see that. But
yeah, I can do that. That's easy.
Yeah.
Candles. Cool.
Yep,
right,
perfect. There you go. So, see the difference?
Yep.
Heikinashis are
Big difference there.
great for momentum and direction, but sometimes you got to go with those traditional Japanese
So-
candles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
so we're
retest.
retesting right now.
Yep.
All right. So good call. Yep, I let that slip on that one. But the argumentative aspect of it right here is kind of saying, hey, we're really overbought on the 4 hour. And so but still, we are there time now. So keep an eye on this. And like I said, what you would like to see, this one's sloppy because that's off the daily, but you want to see it bounce off of this area of support right here. We'll say potential area of support. But if we get that, you could see that continuation up and right. So just
it could even consolidate down that. It could even consolidate down that line as support while it's resetting
100%.
all of those oscillators. So yeah, it could even do
100%.
that.
You could see that. You could see something like that's kind of what he's talking about. And then that movement up, giving this an opportunity to come down, reset,
Cool off.
and then go
Yep.
up.
Launch again. There you go. That would be that'd be what I would watch for there on JASMY. That's good TA, man. Good TA.
Appreciate it.
Let's jump over. I got Chainlink. We'll throw on the official first sergeant of the Link Marines hat here. We got Chainlink looking here, guys. What we're looking at with these yellow channels, you can see that we had this ranging. Chainlink likes to trade in ranges. I've said this 100 times if I've said it once. It likes to trade in these little ranges here and go and it's sideways up and down bouncing. You can scalp fantastically on Chainlink. We also had another range that was trading in here. We've now lost that range again. I'm going to be watching for the last time we lost that range where it became the top of this previous range that we got our support on. I'm going to be watching for that because if that is the case, let's get rid of that. There we go. That would be where I would look at another movement to the upside for Chainlink. Something that is going on here also, if I go ahead and I get rid of that brush mark and we throw on the fibs, we got the 50 running right here also. And I told you, if we bounce on 50s, it's a bullish move. And typically when we reject on the 50, 50% Fibonacci, it's a bearish move. We're sitting right now at that 50 in that same range. Also, I would be looking for a nice little entry here. Let me get rid of all these brush marks so I can get a T box up here. Shout out TA Tim over there on Investing Bros. He loves using these rectangle boxes, and I started using them. So I'm just going to always, forevermore, call them T boxes. We're going to go ahead and put a yellow one right here. It's going to be running in between that previous top range there and that 50. I would be looking for a bounce anywhere in that range to grab another little quick upside movement there. Let's take a look at the oscillator, see how they're looking. We are sitting pretty low right now on the Oscillator Pro. You can see right here, we do have a little twist of the ribbon. It looks like we could be heading down. But again, these can all cool off while this is bouncing sideways between this previous upper range and this previous lower range here that we're kind of caught in between right now. If we take that off and we take a look at what that would look like, that would be a nice clean reset on the RSI prime beneath that 30% range. Relative strength index right there, giving that nice below 30 range could be coming into play, which is that line right there. And then also giving us an opportunity for the Oscillator Pro ribbon to get down into this bullish zone down here. And that would be, if we're still in this range, very bullish setup for the Oscillator Pro to have upside run, for the RSI Prime to have upside run, and of course, because of support, for Chainlink to have another upside run, heading back to this golden pocket, that golden pocket coming in at about $19.60 up to $20 on the upside. That's what I got for Chainlink. Kicking it over to OC.
Absolutely. So looking at Ada, our carrot dancer. So looking at this one, we're gonna be seeing that we were looking at this little range. By the way, I'm pulling this one up because this is freakishly close to what Bitcoin is doing. So look at this pattern going up, right? Having this little reversal, making a range down here, having the fake out to the downside, having the fake out to the upside, and then dropping. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to be dropped. I'm just pointing out the similarities right here. How is it looking between one and another, right? So it's time for me to also give you guys the heads up on I was expecting a breakout to the upside, but remember that we always try to position ourselves at the bottom of the range. Why? Because your entry on the ranges for longs are at the bottom of the ranges, not at the breakouts. Why? Because sometimes we do have these kind of fake outs, and as you can see, we did break above the zero line, we break above the dynamic react. Sorry, range topping here, and then we went for the retest. The retest did not hold. We break back below, and finally we went downside. So that's why I always to be prepared and jump with anticipation on your best case scenario entry. All right, let me clear this up, everything here, and then let's go at the end in here because we have some sort of the same soup in here, which is going with a range. We have the fake out to the upside, and right now we have a loud order block, dynamic reactor, and trend line coming in. And in the bottom, we have double support zones in here. We have the VPVR and also a loud order block. So they are pretty equal. The only thing that is defining the direction right now, it is the oscillator. So as long as we are below in here, we are going to be pushing downside. So something which is important, it is that we've been below the oscillator or the zero line since here, right? If we keep being below, but we do not lose this area and we range, well, remember when we are below the zero line all the way from here to here, look at what it did. Range, drop, and at the end when it was about to break above, despite we were below the zero line, we range and then we moved up. So being below the oscillator and ranging, that is a strength signal. None the way, we have two giants here fighting for positioning. So what's gonna be? Basically not losing the 0.56. So that's what I got, guys. And I see we're running a little bit out of time. So turning it back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, you do have this one article, and then we're going to talk it out here. Bitfinex reveals tokenized hotel project at El Salvador Airport, guys. This is pretty big news, in my opinion. Tokenized debt to fund major hotel. This hotel, guys, it's Hampton by Hilton. It's going to be in El Salvador at the International Airport. This project is a first for Bitfinex Securities in El Salvador, and they're going to be building a hotel funded by HILSV token. Marks the first digital asset tokenization from El Salvador. This is the future of crypto, guys. I just wanted to bring that up there. When we talk about real world assets and tokenization of real world assets, this is a perfect example of it. This is a Hilton hotel in El Salvador. They're going to get all of the funding off of a token, and that investment is going to be a crypto token, its own standalone HILSV. Not sure what it's being built on, or if it's its own layer one. We'll have to do some research on it, but it's pretty big news. Also, big news tomorrow, guys. Giveaway right here. So make sure you're in the live stream. This is for all the members. So if you're not a member, you can join down below. If you're, cum laude, you get 1 entry. If you're, tier 2, you get 2 entries, so on and so forth. But tomorrow we're giving away 2 giveaways. I'm going to go ahead and make it 2. We're going to give away 1 month free of Chart Prime right there. Right over there. We're going to give away 1 month of Chart Prime for free. With that, you also get like 28 plus classes with OC Guy for free in the Discord over there. And on top of it, I think we, I don't know, TradeFly, what token should we give away tomorrow? I'm thinking we should give away the way that Solana's looking, our Chainlink is looking, maybe give away one of those. What do you think?
Well, you know me, I like the Matic, but let's see. Let's do something random. How about Render?
Render? Let's do Render. Okay, fine. I can go with that. We'll do Render. Tomorrow, guys, we're going to give away some Render, and we're going to give away Chart Prime for a month. TradeFly OC, what do you got for the people on the way out, man?
Hey, always good mixing it up with you. Got 47 in chat. Go ahead, smash those likes. And for those that are curious, hey, our Discord is free. I mean, yes, remember, there's some perks to that, but you can come into the Discord. We're always dropping nuggets in there, always dropping alpha. That's how you can get ahead of some of this Uniswap. You could have played that based on being ahead of the news. And then we do drop some TA in there as well. So, hey, get over there, mix it up with us. And I send lots of pictures of cinnamon butter also. So
cinnamon butter. Love it. Love it. OC, what you got for the people, man?
Guys, thank you so much for joining today. Remember to smash that like button, because if you do, my video might not stop. And I told you, you guys need to hit that like button. If not, my video is going to keep falling. Please don't believe me. Try it yourself. Hit that like button. And guys, see you on the next one.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Folks, thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. If you did, hit that like button on the way out. We appreciate everything that the alumni does.
Yeah, that's
you guys
alumni.
are why we do this.
I mean.
Also, tomorrow morning, be right here. We're going to have another show at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to have Ernest from Decrypted.tax. Guys, over there in the Discord community, even on the free side, we're going to be putting up a thing where you guys can put in some questions that you have for Ernest tomorrow. We'll try to address those questions while we have them on the stream. But we'll check you guys out tomorrow morning, right back here at the same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, because at Piper Academy, knowledge is profit. Guys, we'll check you out then. Until next time, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling up the wheels flow low. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
That was awesome, dude!